Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Berry Robinson and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. The In My Opinion Show is also seen on Comcast Cable Television, Channel 17, Flint, Michigan, every Saturday at 6 p.m. and every Wednesday at 8:30. The In My Opinion Show is seen on Comcast Cable Television, Channel 68, Detroit, Michigan, 7 days weekly. Consult your community calendar. We have a wonderful show in store for millions of viewers out there. But first, let me introduce my talented co-host. We have Mr. Henry Hatter.
Hi, Ron, and let me congratulate. I'll let you do this one this time.
Well, we want to congratulate your son on his promotion.
Thank you.
And kudos goes out to him, and I'm sure that he will be very successful.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
And we'd like to introduce Miss Denise Smith-Allen.
Hello, Ron. Hi, Henry.
Hi. And I also want to, I can't say enough about, and we talk about this all the time, about how we ramp up and how we redefine ourselves as we move further into this century. And what a great testimony to your son to become the vice president of
Do Tours.
Do Tours.
Thank you.
And we will be watching that to see how everything comes out and see how he becomes a mentor for other young people in this same category. Okay? We'll be talking about it.
All right.
Maybe someday we'll have him on the show.
Absolutely,
Perhaps,
that's a great
perhaps.
idea. That's a great idea. Next time he's in town, I'll invite him on our show.
Okay.
Welcome all to the In My Opinion Show. Let's talk about six-term Missouri Republican Senator Todd Akins versus rape. His views on abortion are just plain wrong. Akin sits on the House Committee on Science and Technology to spew remarks that most rapes, legitimate rapes, don't cause pregnancies, should not cost him his seat in the U.S. Senate is preposterous. What the hell is a legitimate rape? Webster's dictionary describes rape as an act of violence making someone have intercourse against his or her will. If this legitimate rape statement by Atkins, an elected member of the U.S. Congress, is the kind of stupidity being spewed out to the nation as truths, women everywhere are in serious trouble and should be up in arms. This idiot obviously did not take any science classes, sits on the wrong committee, and is in the wrong branch of government. He should just retire. His comments were lies and full of misinformation, offensive and wrong. Perhaps even more, he should talk to the countless rape victims around the country and world and get their thoughts and feelings on his outrageous comments on rape and abortion. It's no wonder that women in this country and other nations around the world are having a hard time, treated like personal property, and are treated as second-class citizens. Are men just plain stupid, as well as gender blind? Obviously, Akin does not respect women's views, nor does he have respect for women's self-worth or values. Women, you must exercise your right to vote, because idiots like Akin dominate the political hierarchy and corporate structures of this nation. They have to be eliminated from positions of power. They only apologize when they get caught stating stupid and dehumanizing things as facts. Akin's apology is not acceptable. Just think, you were not entitled to vote until 1920. Cast your votes not for party or friendship, but who you think is best suited to deliver and provide the best decisions possible for your and that of your children's positive futures. As always, remember, you're protected by the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which provides equal protection for all people. What do you think about this idiot's comments? Denise?
You know, when I heard it, I was appalled. I was just floored. I said, I cannot believe that a person who was elected to office
6 terms
has been in a position of leadership to that caliber would open his mouth and say something that was so egregious. Absolutely. As a female or as a male who could possibly be taken advantage of, no one should have to be subjected to that kind of behavior to begin with, okay? But if that happens, particularly if it's a female, and then she is subject to becoming impregnated after a violent occurrence like that, and for him to make the statement that he made, He does not deserve to be sitting in that seat. And I'm hopeful that there will be a groundswell from the area from where he's from that will call for his resignation. That is just ridiculous.
Well, I agree with you. Now, I hope that there's a groundswell. But you know, unfortunately, there's a whole lot of men that think that.
And that's dangerous.
Exactly.
That's a dangerous individual
dangerous.
that would have that kind of mindset in this day and time. The kind of problems that women, particularly who have experienced this kind of thing, have had to deal with over a course of life through therapy and all of the rest to try to put their lives back together after having it been shattered by that type of experience. And for him to cavalierly say that and, have this kind of paternalistic view that, it's almost like, well, she asked for it. Come on. Where is that coming from in the 21st century? Supposedly an educated person, but yet with that kind of mindset, it's a dangerous position for him to be in Congress. I'm sorry.
This fool, he should talk to the rape victims. He should also talk to the rape victims in Kosovo and in Chechnya and in the Congo and Darfur and all across the United States.
Yes.
And maybe, well, it's probably too late for him to be enlightened on this. You know what I mean? Because he said what he said. All right, now he's trying to backpedal and things of that nature. And I hope that he's beat, in Missouri by his challenger. All right, because a person like this has no, in my opinion, has no business being in office, and especially in the U.S. Congress of these United States. Mr. Heder, what is your thoughts?
Well, Ron, I wasn't going to say much on this, but except I don't believe in rape. I think it's very egregious. That's the word you use. I can't believe that Senator Atkins, he is in the Senate, right?
Yes, U.S. Congress.
A Republican.
Yes, sir.
Said that. He must have intended that to be a pun of some kind.
Yeah, but you don't joke about stuff like that.
That was something that you don't, and it was a highly charged political statement.
Absolutely.
And he should have known that everybody was going to come after him. And we got to make sure that the people in this country, particularly women, don't indict all men, because men are on their side too. There are 50% men, roughly, and all of them do not agree or respond in this man's voice. So you can't categorically say all men cause a problem like this, but the men will help regulate themselves. And he won't be reelected. I'll bet you he will not be reelected, because there's going to be a groundswell of energy against him. And it's not only going to be the Democrats and the women, it's going to be the Republicans. They can't handle that. Many of them have had the same experiences. Many of them hate the same experience. So they're no different than the average American. And besides, there's a social norm that we all govern by. And right at the norm, there are some things that we can all live with. Whether we are black, white, men, women, rich, poor, or whatever. That's that norm that we can all agree on. And one, that is rape. That is rape and murder. So we need to make sure that we don't go out and build a whole regimen of anti-people against people for the wrong cause, like men, for example. It does not represent.
I don't think that's the case.
But I think if you listen to just some of the remarks that people are making. But we just need to be careful. It's like indicting all whites for what happened in black communities or whatever. There are some things we need to relax on.
Absolutely.
We need to think through. And I'm sure that Atkins will he will meet his Waterloo. It's unfortunate, and I'm sorry that it happened. Many women had to hear that. and I'm sure that he would get set to it.
And if he said this on national television, all right, he said it before, and probably in other places. This is probably just something just not new to him. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's had this conversation. You know what I mean? For him just to blurt this stuff out.
Right, but not only it's just a conversation, but it's obviously a belief.
Exactly.
It's a
exactly.
belief. I mean, he holds this more than likely as truth, his truth. Okay, and to have a position of leadership and power in Congress, like I said, he has the influence of laws and things that impact on things such as health care for women and all kinds of legislation. So
of course, he's on the Committee of Science and Technology.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. You're in a position and you have this thought that is just that's crazy. That's just totally crazy. Oh my gosh.
But, and you're right, maybe he might have read something that women in dress are likely to have the body shut down under stresses and are not likely to become pregnant under the circumstance, which is a plausible argument. But it has no place in this argument because it is rape what we're talking about.
But how scientific, even if it was, how scientific is that? You know what I mean? That the woman's body, shuts down. You got tens of thousands of women, that were raped
and have had children, and had children under that circumstance.
And in Africa, and so the continent of Africa, hundreds of thousands of women. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he couldn't have meant that.
We don't know what he meant, but he sure shouldn't have opened his mouth and said it.
Yeah.
He should sit his ass down someplace and stay there.
I'm sure he's
somewhere
hearing
in
our
Missouri.
comments right now.
Yeah, hey. He should hear a whole lot as they walk him out the door.
Let's change gears here. Michigan Supreme Court put PA 4 on November ballot. The Michigan Supreme Court ruled that a repeal of the Public Act 4 emergency financial law should be placed on the November 6th ballot. Michigan's highest court is controlled by Republicans, 4-3. However, GOP Justice Mary Beth Kelly broke from the majority in this case and provided a decisive vote to order the State Board of Canvassers to have the referendum put on the ballot. I applaud the Republicans of late, all right, where the Supreme Court Justice, voted 5-4, all right, on health care. Okay, now she's she voted 4-3, to have this PA Act emergency financial law put on the ballot. I applaud. I applaud the Republicans for that. You know what I mean?
That's only one incident.
Well,
okay,
it's a start.
But it's been going on all the time. You just haven't been listening.
You know what I mean? It's a start. Okay, and it's the right thing to do. Okay. These people that are voted into office, stop playing, the party game. All right, do what's right for your constituents and for the people. All right, do what's right for a change, and they are, at least in those two instances.
Mary Beth Kelly is a very fine justice. I know her. As a matter of fact, I know all of the Supreme Court justices. She's a very fine lady, very honest, like many of the others. Like I don't want to mention their names, but those friends of mine.
Right. Well, in the legal world, you have a balance. There's a system, and there's law, and there is certainly common sense that goes along with that law. So I think the more, those that are in higher positions, they have an opportunity to look at both sides and then do what is in the best interest.
Ron,
best interest of
thank you for that. I'm going to tell every Republican what he said.
Okay. Well, I mean, right is right. You know what I mean? I mean, doggone it, right is right, and people should do more of the right thing. All right, and to hell with with this party affiliation in some cases. Okay, vote for what's right. All right, and what's most beneficial for the for the majority of the people.
You know that occurred in the national scene as well.
He's going to tell you. Just a minute. He's going to tell you.
Tell us.
Well, who approved Obamacare? Who said it was okay?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I said that.
That's not Mary Beth.
No, not Mary Beth. I'm talking about the Supreme Court,
Okay.
the Supreme Court Justice of the United
Talk about
States.
it.
Okay, which was a great thing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's what I was
Now
alluding
we
to.
sorted out the record.
Okay, okay, which was the right thing to do.
Yes.
I mean, when these two voted, you know what I mean, to whatever, not to put this stuff, on the ballot, that was wrong. And they voted according to party, to party lines. And maybe maybe we should a third party. All right, we should maybe start courting a third party, whatever that might be.
There
Republican,
are already
Democrat,
more than,
Yeah.
Libertarian, Green Party.
Yeah, they're already
You know
You
what I
may
mean?
never get anything
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
Okay, how about a conscientious Black Party, or a conscientious Hispanic Party? Okay, or a conscientious Iraqi Party.
That's what
You
we
know
want
what I
to
mean?
avoid by 2050.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Well, or how about no parties at all?
Yeah, how about that?
Better.
Huh?
That's better. That's
Okay.
better. And because
Like-
really there is, in my opinion, not really a party, because it all comes down to ideology.
Yes.
Okay.
And who has the
so-
most money?
Well, that too, but
Mhm.
certainly it's
It's always-
ideology.
Yeah.
Okay, and some people are fundamentally lean towards a conservative mindset, and
Mhm.
some don't.
And only one point of view is going to prevail. There are two, like Denise says, there are two sides, there are two spectrums being represented out there. There are those people who believe in in becoming rich and associating with the people who have, they're called the haves. And then there's the other side, which are not really have-nots, but for some reason they call them have-nots. And they are all fighting for power, position, and resources. There's nothing else out there. Power, position, and resources. That's what we fight for. And what you got to do is to make sure you completely destroy the other side, because there's no room for compromise in their platforms. Whatever compromise comes from the grace of individuals like Mary Beth Kelly and others who make those decisions. But people who belong to these platforms, and there are millions of them, they don't want you to deviate from the platform.
Right.
They don't want you to make any compromises. So what you got to do is crush the other side and move on with the agenda. And yet, and the American people don't care whether the Democrats or the Republican win. That social norm, they don't care. Because after the election, they're still Americans, it's still a democratic and free society, and we will function on as we've always done in this country until the next cycle comes. And if the opposite party wins, the norm will still prevail as always. And some of us belong to those norms. And they believe that, except you, Ron, you might be looking at two people that belong to the norm.
Maybe. If you're saying I'm an independent thinker,
Yeah, you are.
yeah.
Good thinker, too.
And I am too. I want that clear. I'm an independent.
And I don't buy, I don't buy just anything somebody throws at me.
And we appreciate that, too.
And I've gotten my share of hate texts and emails, but so be it. You know what I mean? If those that disagree with me, we've said this a numerous amount of times. You're more than welcome to come on the show and and voice your opinion. And, just email me or or email one of the co-hosts and say you want to come on. We'll give you your time.
But they know that you have Denise and me on your side, so they aren't going to come against all of this.
Well, again, you're more than welcome, to come on and voice your opinion. Okay, we're civilized here. We won't harm you in any way. Okay, but anyway, moving right along. What a disgrace. Why in the world would the U.S. Olympic uniforms be made in China? As if we don't have enough shit coming from China already. Why would they have uniforms for the U.S. athletes made in China? Whoever sanctioned that is beyond my. I just can't. It's beyond my beliefs.
Well, there was a committee. The committee sanctioned it, and then somebody blew the whistle. This is probably something that's been going on all the time.
Well, there's some legal framework too. You can't go out and spend millions of dollars in public fund monies or money derived from the public without going through a process of using the cheapest bidder. Okay, their framework that's protect systems through commerce on how we do business. And so if that's part of the protocol, you can see easily when someone is awarded the contract to go out and get this done.
So we just throw out American pride?
No,
you know what I mean?
I know what you're driving at, but there's a process that's established that'll allow these things to happen. And
I understand what you're saying, Henry, and I certainly appreciate it. And I think under any other circumstances, except for the U.S. Olympics, I think that it would.
I agree.
It makes sense. But here you are talking about, representing this country, and you've got people who right now are unemployed and could be employed making those jerseys or whatever else they needed for this Olympics. And some, from what I saw on the news, were willing to do it. We're willing to do it.
Well, I had a similar circumstance being on the old Newsboys board for many years, been president and all of that. And one day we took a look at some of the jerseys that the kids wore. And the old Newsboys is supported by commerce here through the plants, unionized plants. And someone discovered that the clothing was made in China. And then there was a whole rumble set up on the board as to how that happened. And so they had to go back and undo all of that. But we still had to accept the contract conditions for that year.
Right.
But that has changed, and all clothes now are made in, I believe, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the USA.
Yeah, in the U.S.
Well,
We got upset over that.
Well, of course,
But they won't get as upset over the Olympics. It's so big and unwieldy. But over time they will. But they don't have to
people are up in arms. People are up in arms.
They were concerned about it. They
Yeah.
were concerned about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was newsworthy, and they won't let it happen again.
Yeah.
I believe.
That was atrocious.
Yeah.
I want to say this at this point in time. In my opinion show with my co-hosts Henry Hatter and Mr. Denise Smith-Allen, we want to set out congratulations to Prince-owned Carissa Shields for her gold medal in the 2012 Olympics.
Yes.
London.
Yeah. So proud. We're so
and
proud.
we're also proud of you too, Abby, for your gold medal.
Yay, Debbie!
But getting back to these uniforms and so forth, we're talking about millions of dollars. All right, that could have been spent with with somebody that was an American. Okay, to provide these these uniforms. And what you were saying, with all these folk out of jail, out of work, okay, it was ridiculous. You know what I mean? I'd like to know who comprises this these
Committees.
these committee.
Mhm.
All right, where in the hell are they from? Okay.
Well, there are laws that are governing their action based on something that you don't even see.
Well, maybe so, but
There are protocols, purchasing protocols that through the IRS and all of those.
why didn't Americans object? Those people that have the purse strings, you would think somebody would have objected when they seen this stuff coming down the pipe.
No. Here's what happened, in my opinion, is that, you know, how commerce has moved offshore, went to other places because they're trying to increase their bottom line. That's essentially, in my opinion, what happened in this case, increasing the bottom line. So now it's been exposed. Now, because of hopefully some loyalty to the workers here in the United States, that will be moved back here, regardless of how many bids are out there and who is the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder was probably the issue there.
And
Well,
besides,
before we leave, close this segment of the show, buy American, all right? Buy American, buy American. This has been a wonderful show, but unfortunately we ran out of time. I want to thank my great technical staff, my co-host, Mr. Henry Hatter, Mr. Denise Smith-Allen. This is Ronald Berry Robinson saying for the In My Opinion show, stay focused.